in Cine-MANIAC with another 10ish-minute review. So, okay, here's the deal. So, I reviewed a couple of films. I reviewed a TV show, and now I put out in the community poll, give me one film that you guys want me to watch or review. And again, we're not doing a lot on the big show, so this is just me doing my 10ish-minute thing. So, we're doing something else on the big show where I took some movies from the movies I reviewed, and I picked ones that I think the other group would really like. And that's been on a wheel. And the first film we're going to watch is 12th Fail, which I loved. So, this is the first review of all the films that you guys have recommended in that community poll. So I just want you to know that. And right now, I've got a list, I think, of about 18 or so. And I'm trying to go through them and find out if they're streaming. And I would say 90% of them are streaming. The only issue is some of them are only available on YouTube, and they're just lousy um, versions, quality. So if I have to watch them, I will, but I should be able to knock out a bunch of these. So I've already picked one, and I picked one for two reasons. One, I saw the trailer for this film, and it looked like a movie that I would enjoy, especially with the cast that was in it. And I also, because Wolverina Pagan picked this film, and she's been a long time viewer, a loyal viewer, and has been really helpful uh, giving me access to some films that I can't get here. So that's why I picked that one too. So the first film I'm going to review from the viewer poll is Dil Dhadakne Do from 2015. And it's directed by Zoya Akhtar, who also was the writer. Now, this cast, and I know most of this cast because I've seen them and a lot of stuff. Anil Kapoor, who I saw in Slumdog Millionaire, right? But I've just recently seen him in Fighter and Animal. Priyanka Chopra, who obviously she does a series here. I think it was called Quantico about the FBI, but I've seen her in a lot of stuff too. Barfi, which I thought was great. Agneepath and Khoon Maaf, where she played basically a serial killer. Ranveer Singh, who I always get confused with another actor, but I've seen him in three films: Gully Boy, Padmaavat in '83. Shafali Shah, who I looked at her films, and I don't think I've seen any of them. Anushka Sharma, who I've seen in a lot: PK, Sultan, and Pari, which was a horror film. Farhan Akhtar, who actually directed Dawn 1 and 2 and Dil Chada High. Vikrant Massey, who I've just become a huge fan of. He's really not in this film a lot. It's got to be one of his early films. But obviously, I saw him in Mirzapur, and he was great, although not in it as much as I would have liked. 12th Fail, which I thought he was fantastic, and Death and Gunge, and he was also great in that. So I love the fact that I knew almost the entire cast in this film and there was one special thing that happened in this film that Wolverina did not tell me about before I watched this film. Because the one thing I noticed from the list that all the films you guys picked, there wasn't an Amir Khan film. And apparently, you guys are trying to make some kind of point because you know what a big fanboy I am about Amir Khan. You put some SRK films on there who I'm a big fan of, but you know me and Amir Khan. Well, in this film, unbeknownst to me, Amir Khan's in the film. And it's funny because, okay, for those who haven't seen the film, or for those who have, you know that it's taken from the perspective of the dog Pluto. And the dog is voiced by Amir Khan. And it's funny because when the dog started talking, now remember, I didn't know Amir Khan was in this film because they don't list him in the opening credits. They list him in the end credits. Um, I heard his voice and I'm going, wait a minute. I know that voice. I go, that's Amir Khan, isn't it? So I waited till the end of the film, and of course it said, thank you or much appreciation, Amir Khan. I can't remember exactly what it said. So that was great. I loved it. I wish he was in it, but that's thank you, Wolverina, for that. A little treat for me. She's not as big an Amir Khan fan as me. and I think she did that purposely. So thank you. So this film, I really enjoyed this film because it reminded me very much. This film, for those who don't know, is about a older couple who is celebrating a wedding anniversary, and they bring their family and friends onto a cruise to celebrate. That's the thrust of the story. Okay. But what I really liked, it's a comedy and it was very funny, although it had serious moments in it. But even that, even the serious moments weren't super serious like I've seen in a lot of these Bollywood movies where the tonal shift is just so drastic. It wasn't like that. And I'll explain that. But my family and I, my entire family, went on a rock and roll cruise. It was a 1950s cruise where they, you dressed up and they had these old bands there. It was where the Beach Boys played, Chubby Checker played, but a lot that this movie just reminded me of that trip because all the different personalities, all the different in-laws. So I'm laughing the whole time. In fact, I told my mother, Ma, you got to watch this film. I really think you're going to like this film. So, okay. So the story. Now, look, I'm going to give the story like I'll give it a 3. The story was okay. You've seen this a lot. This isn't the first time you've seen a story like this. And again, I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying, I've seen this a million times, but I did I like the way they interwove everything. Right now, as the movie progresses, you find out, and I got to write down everybody's name. I wrote a little character thing. So Kamal and Neelam are the husband and wife, played by Anil Kapoor and Shafali. He's a very wealthy business owner. His son works for him. His daughter doesn't. She started her own company, and this film was very much about at least my take on it. It's about women empowerment because there's a lot of scenes in this film where they compare if a man did this, what would the reaction be versus a woman doing this? And that was a thread throughout the story. It wasn't they didn't bash over the head with it. But I liked it because that culture I don't quite understand that culture. So I like the way they told that story. So now they go on this trip and he invites his friends and business associates because he also needs an influx of capital to keep his company going. So he brings a guy who will buy 49% of the company. But the way he does it is if his oldest son Kabir marries his daughter Nuri. Okay. So this now I've told you I've done a lot of theater back in the day, and I did a lot of British bedroom farces. And this movie reminded me of a bedroom farce. They're covering up relationships. They were lying about relationships, and people were getting caught. Um, it really reminded me of that. And ultimately, Priyanka Chopra's character wants to get a divorce from her husband, and that's probably the most dramatic thing in the film. But even that, there's some comedy in it. And that scene where she confronts her mother, who knows that her husband's been cheating on her. Why don't you divorce him? She goes, "That's not what you do. Marriage is up and down." Well, this is a Priyanka plays this businesswoman who's sharp, who's independent and knows what she wants, so she's not falling for that. But to tell you what I mean about the dramatic scenes with the comedy, so they confront everybody. You got the husband she wants to leave. You got the mother-in-law who was hilarious because every time they wanted her to do something, she had asthma or arthritis. She always had an excuse for not being able to do something. Well, in this scene, it's very dramatic and they're talking about the divorce and how they got to work it out, and she doesn't want to work it out, and the parents are upset, everybody's upset, and then the grandmother says, "Why don't I just take this knife and just kill myself right now?" And then Kabir, Ranveer, says, "That's a butter knife. That's not going to work. Butter knife's not going to work." What? A butter knife. Here, take. And he gives her a sharp knife. That's what I mean about the comedy. So you got a really dramatic scene, and they still inject it with that comedy. And I laughed. I mean, It was funny. And then he also Kabir, who they're trying to hook up with Nori, meets up with Sharma, who plays. I want to get the name right. Farah, who's also a Muslim, which causes some issue because they're Punjab, I believe. And she's great, and she's beautiful in this, and so they fall in love. But now she finds out that he's supposed to marry the other Nori, and they're going to pretend to get married so they can get everyone off their backs because neither one of them want to marry each other. They want to marry somebody else. Nori wants to marry Rana, who's played by Vikrant Massey. Okay, so it's all very funny, all very funny. So in the end, it all works out. Other than once Farah finds out that Kabir is going to get married, she gets fired and gets off the boat. Well, now the boat's taken off, and he wants to go find her, so he literally leaps off the boat. And then his family, who has been being ripped apart in this movie, all get on the lifeboat and rescue him. And that's the conclusion, that they end up working out their problems. And another funny thing that happens is the father keeps popping pills because he's got anxiety. And at one point, he he doesn't pass out. It looks like he's having a heart attack. Okay, that's what it looks like. And he's in the hospital. The whole family's in there, and they're all upset. And they're like, "Is he going to live?" Now the doctor comes out. Tell us, what is it, doctor? What is it? Oh, he's going to be perfectly fine. He's got gas. And I'm like, there you go. Dramatic moment, funny punchline. And then they go in to the hospital room and they have it out. Okay. So I'm going to give the story a 3. Okay. I'm going to give the story a 3. I liked it. It was funny. It reminded me of my own experience on a cruise with my family. So I'm going to give that a 3. Now, the musical numbers. I'll tell you about the musical numbers. This was one of the you know how I feel about the musical numbers when they're totally unrelated and they just throw a musical number in. I'm not a big fan of that. And everyone says, well, just skip over it. Well, then you're not really watching the movie, right? You got to take the good with the bad. I'll tell you what, I think all the songs but one with me, I really, really liked, because the way they did the songs, it fit in the context of the story other than one. And that's why I liked them. And they were just great numbers. The first number was in the club of the cruise, and it's got a 1920s flapper vibe. I thought that was a great number. The second one was, now this is where the love story comes in, right? Kabir is romancing Farah, and they go on a date, and the date's wonderful. They show them out on this excursion, and the way they shot it, they just were asking each other questions. They would, she would ask one, he would ask one. She would ask one, he would. It was really funny the way they did it. But in this scene, she's rehearsing in this little dance rehearsal place on the cruise. He comes down, he starts cranking out different kinds. She's doing stretches and stuff like ballet. He comes down and puts on this real great beat song, and now they start dancing. So it's the foreplay, as it were, as their relationship builds. I thought it was a great number. It was really, really a good number. The third number was open mic night on the cruise, where, it starts off with somebody who can't sing very well, and then it goes into this big number with everybody in the cast doing a great dance number and song. And the dancing I loved in this film. Now, the one I didn't like was the fourth song, which was after Aisha, Priyanka, announces that she's getting divorced and all that drama. And by the way, one of the people that the father brings on the cruise has a son who was involved with her in the past, is back on the boat. So that's a whole nother relationship dynamic. So they do this romance song, or I don't know if it's romance. It's something about loneliness, where they kind of isolate her and they isolate the new guy, Sonny. Sunny is his name, and he's very sunny, by the way. That's the only song I didn't like, because for me, it wasn't organic like I like. And finally, and this was my favorite song in the whole movie, at the after the credits or during the credits, there's this great musical number with a very stylized set. It looks like what you would see on a Broadway stage. but it was the cruise ship, and the whole cast is back singing this very upbeat song. So I'm going to give this particular movie, I don't know if these songs were hits, but I'm going to give the songs a 5 because I loved them. And I love the dancing. Everyone was great in it. The entire cast was great in these numbers. So, yeah, I'm going to give that a 5. Okay. Now, the acting. I thought the acting, I mean, they were very funny. Um, the dramatic scenes, which, they were few and far between. I thought they played them well, but I don't think these were great acting stretches by everybody. I thought everyone was really likable. I actually thought the best performance, or most nuanced performance, I guess, would be from Shafali Shah, who played the mother, because there were scenes in this film where she knows what's going on with the husband, and she's kind of and he's real mean to her too about her weight, and she knows he's been screwing around on him. But there's a scene where he finally goes too far, and he's always bringing up she's got to eat less, she's got to eat less. Well, then they show her in her stateroom eating this platter of desserts and just shoving them in her mouth, and she's like practically crying. It was a really it was a strong scene, and you could see all the emotion on her face. But everybody, I'm going to give the performances a 3. No great shakes. Everyone was good in it. Everyone was funny in it. And overall, I'm going to give this film I'll give it a 4. I liked it. This is a film that I would tell people who don't normally watch Indian films, friends of mine and stuff. This is a film you could watch and really relate to. Now, they always say to me, and I thought about this just recently, actually, well, it's almost 3 hours. How can you watch a film that long? Now, in the world we live in today, we binge watch 10 episodes in one sitting of some TV show. So that works out to about 10 hours, a little less than 10 hours. So when people say to me, I can't watch a 3-hour movie, what are you, nuts? If it's a good movie, you can watch it. And this was a good movie. And it flew. It wasn't like there was a lot of scenes that dragged. Sometimes I will admit that in some of the longer movies, there are spots where you go, yeah, that probably could have been cut out. We didn't really need that. There wasn't a lot of that in this movie. And by the way, the other thing I didn't mention, the locations were beautiful. They go to Istanbul. There were places I didn't recognize, but just absolutely beautiful location shooting. So yeah, I'm going to give it overall a 4. I really enjoyed it. Wolverina, thank you. And that little nugget of Aamir Khan at the end. And that was kind of a strange thing too, that it was the dog narrating throughout the movie. I mean, so it was kind of fantastical. And I read some of the reviews, and people did not like that. It didn't bother me. I thought it was actually kind of cute. Yeah, I know. And I got to tell you something. As far as dog performances go, this was the best dog performance I have ever seen. That Aamir Khan just always continues to surprise me. So thank you for that, Mr. Khan, King Khan. Oh no, that's Shah Rukh Khan, isn't it? I don't know what Amir's nickname is. But yeah, I really liked it. So it was a fun movie, and but that's it. Let me know what you guys think about this film in the comment section. And I appreciate you guys responding to the community poll. It's fun to, and I'm starting to get to know you guys too, which is fun. I like that. So keep watching. I say this every time, but I want you to know I don't take this for granted. I really love doing this, and I love the back and forth. Even some that weren't very happy with me and unsubscribed because they didn't like my take on Dhadakne Do, which I knew that was probably going to happen with some people. But like I told that person, I got to be honest. And if I'm not honest, then there's no point in really doing this. Anyway, that's it. That's my soapbox. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon with another 10ish-Minute review right from the community poll.
हर दिल की अपनी ताल है, अपना ही एक राग है। हर दिल की अपनी धड़कने, अपनी ही एक आग है। जज्बात पिघले पिघले है तो क्यों ना